So I think the first thing was talking about mindset and fixed versus growth mindset and the work that Carol Dweck had done. Would you like to talk a little bit about that, Lucy?
Yeah, I think I've always found this really fascinating. And this work by Carol Dweck was essentially postulating that it's the way that we approach challenge and difficulty in life that really leads to the outcome. So are we going to approach it with a mindset that is what she calls fixed? This idea of really not seeing the opportunity. Also, this concept of seeing failure as the end. So when Carol Dweck first studied this whole area, she noticed that children who were failing at particular maths tests, some of them found that really devastating, and it stopped them from doing anything else. It shut them down. It put barriers in their way because they just believed they weren't good enough and that there wasn't a possibility of learning anything or succeeding. But yet there were other children who remained interested and a bit curious and a bit playful. And those children were the ones that were not necessarily successful at the maths problems, but seemed to be more successful generally in their schooling and in their lives. They had better results school-wise all round. And so she went on to study this whole idea of the way that we look at things, the way that we view failure and the way that we view challenge. And it became clear to her and subsequent researchers that if we're open-minded, if we're willing to take a chance, if we're willing to look at failure not as the end, but potentially as the beginning of something, then we can hone our skills. Also, to really watch our pride. Sometimes when we fail, our pride is hurt, and understandably, well, people with a growth mindset, they will also feel disappointed, hurt, and sad when they fail. But what they do differently is to pick themselves up and say, yes, this hurts. This feels really uncomfortable. I don't want to fail. But they then start asking themselves, I wonder what I can do differently next time. Who can I talk to? What resources can I draw on? What can I learn? And who can I learn it from? So it's not that growth mindset people are different human beings. They still feel hurt and disappointment in the same way as anybody else, but they seem to have this ability to look for the potential, look for the opportunities. And I think I've seen that so much in so many examples of people, ordinary people. We're not talking about extraordinary people over the years. And it really does make a difference to how we view our life and the experience we have of life.
I think that's really interesting, Lucy. But I also think, from my perspective, I think that you can actually, if you have a fixed mindset, you can try and move over to a growth mindset, which I think is an interesting concept to some extent, or at least if you recognize. So this is not something that you're born with, and I think probably for our listeners, that's quite a nice thing, isn't it? That you're not just born, you've got this fixed mindset and that's it, but you have the ability to move across. Is that right?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So we're not talking about personality traits. We're not talking about something that is absolutely fixed in our DNA and over which we have no control whatsoever. And in fact, having a fixed mindset in certain areas of our lives might not matter at all. It might not be an issue. So this isn't about being growth mindset in everything that we do. This is about choosing what areas in life could I be a bit more curious and interested, a bit less afraid of failure, a bit more willing to stretch myself. That's what growth mindset is. And so, yeah, we can absolutely shift. And we know that we can do this because we have the power to materially change the structure of our brain, depending on where we pay our attention.